Time for another Fast and Furious adventure. Fast cars, characters defying the laws of physics, the word family being said almost 100 times, Aquaman is the villain. Let's hope they don't go to space this time. Please don't. Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner and welcome to my review of Fast X. Fast X is now the 10th film in the Fast and Furious franchise, plus one counting Hobbs and Shaw. And this new installment of the franchise is directed by Louis Leterrier, and you got the returning players of Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, John Cena, Tyrese Gibson, and many others, as well as the new additions of Brie Larson and Jason Momoa. In Fast X, Dom Toretto, as always played by Vin Diesel, and his Fast family are targeted by a new threat named Dante, played by Jason Momoa, who's out for revenge against Dom to take everything from him. Now, before we get into the review, I would like to give you my thoughts on the Fast and Furious franchise. I am planning on rewatching 1 through 4, but from what I remember them ranging from decently entertaining, meh, or just bad. And when Fast 5 came out in 2011, that movie surprised me a lot back in 2011, and that is still my favorite Fast and Furious film. Dwayne Johnson was a great addition to the cast, awesome action scenes with heavy use of practical effects and minimal CGI, which one of the reasons why I believe the action in that movie was awesome and amazing. Fast and Furious 6 came out in 2013, and that was a good continuation that contained the strengths of 5. And then in 2015, we had Fury 7, and that would probably be my second favorite Fast and Furious film. James Wan did a great job directing the action scenes in that movie, which were great. Jason Statham was a fun villain, and the ending was an emotional tribute to Paul Walker, and See You Again I still think is a great song to this day. And if that was the ending to the franchise, I would have been satisfied with it. But since that movie made $1 billion worldwide, we got more Fast and Furious movies. We had The Fate of the Furious and Hobbs and Shaw, a spin-off movie. I thought they were both entertaining movies, even if they were a bit forgettable. And in 2021, F9 The Fast Saga came out. When I first saw F9, I was lukewarm on it, but since then, my thoughts start to decline on that movie. It does have its moments, but I felt like it just took the silliness a bit too far, and they went to space. I just thought, really? They're actually doing that? Just, oh my god, just why? I do think the Fast and Furious franchise from 5 through 9, I do think that is the weakest entry so far. And originally I gave that a B-, now I would give it a C+. And I was skeptical about Fast X for a few reasons. Number one, after being underwhelmed by F9 and found it to be a mixed bag, and reminding me why I would have been satisfied had the franchise ended at 7. And second, after Justin Lin left due to creative differences, Louis Leterrier was brought in to replace him as director, and he has an average track record. He has directed the 2 Transporter movies with Jason Statham, and sometimes he can make an entertaining movie like The Incredible Hulk, not a bad MCU movie, and Now You See Me, which I thought was a fun magician thriller from 2013, but he also directed the 2010 remake of Clash of the Titans, which I thought was awful. So I was hesitant about him handling a Fast and Furious movie. And third, I wasn't sure about Fast X being a 2-part story. Oh wait, no. A few days before the film's release, it was actually confirmed that Fast X is going to be a trilogy now. I just thought, could this story be justified in being a trilogy? Or this is a big money-making franchise for Universal, which means money. Money. And when the trailer for Fast X was released, it did start to get my hopes up and started to look promising, both looking like an improvement over 9, and Jason Momoa seems like a great addition as a villain. I saw Fast X on opening day with so-so expectations, and now that I've seen it, my review is here. What are my thoughts on Fast X? While not great, and I definitely have my issues with it, but I can confirm I do think this is one of the better ones since 7, and I came out to theater enjoying it. Let's start this review with the pros. First, the performances from both old and new are all solid. From the returning players of Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, they're all as charming, likable, and entertaining as they usually are in this series. And I enjoyed seeing Jason Statham back since Hobbs and Shaw. Even though I wanted a bit more from him, it was great to see his character back and curious to see where they take him in part 2. And he does an excellent job in the action scenes, as Jason Statham always does as an action star. And 2 improvements I am happy to say. One, Charlize Theron returning as Cypher. She was definitely more utilized here than in F9, where I felt like she barely did anything. And she gets to shine a lot more in the action scenes, and Charlize Theron did an excellent job with that. And if I were to choose a runner-up of the cast, I would go with John Cena as Jacob Toretto. In F9, I felt like Cena was a bit too stoic, but luckily here in Fast X, Cena gave a much better performance as Jacob than in 9, both shining in the action, including an excellent action scene set at a house, and gets to show his humor and charisma with entertaining back and forth banter between a certain character. I do enjoy when Cena gets to balance his badassery in the action scenes and showing his humor and charisma at the same time, one of the reasons why I loved him as Peacemaker in The Suicide Squad. And we got impressive new additions to the cast, even with limited screen time from Brie Larson and Daniela Melchior. I hope I said her name correctly. She was Ratcatcher 2 in The Suicide Squad. And even though they don't have a lot of screen time, they did have their moments to shine here and there. But the one who steals the show in this movie was hands down Jason Momoa as Dante. Jason freaking Momoa in this movie. Oh, how do I even describe him and where do I even begin? And when I heard Jason Momoa was going to play a villain in the Fast and Furious franchise, I was excited because I really like Jason Momoa as an actor. Even though I think Aquaman is an okay movie, I do really like him as a character. I do think he brings a lot of charisma and badassery to the role of Aquaman. Even though I'm not really looking forward to Aquaman 2 later this year, I am excited to see him return to the role. And I thought it was great as Duncan Idaho in Dune Part 1 last year. That's still my favorite performance of his. But here in Fast X, Momoa goes over the top, but he doesn't take it to 10. He takes it to freaking 15. He oozes so much energy, humor, charisma, and unpredictability every moment he was on screen, making me excited whenever he shows up next. With just how unhinged and crazy he is, just the different mannerisms of his, he's sort of like the Joker of the Fast and Furious franchise. And if you want an example of how over the top he is, there is a scene where his character is giving a corpse a pedicure and he's wearing a pink robe and he has 2 bun ponytails on top of him and he's acting all flamboyant. That right there is the over the top your performance you are getting here. And just when I saw that scene in the theater, I was like, I did not expect this at all. And just my jaw dropped, but oh my god, Momoa was just so entertaining in this movie. But not just that, I felt like he was set up well, connected to a previous villain of the series, and you do understand why he is after Dom. But I also really like that he makes for a challenging and unstoppable villain for Dom. And upon thinking about it, I think Dante might be my new favorite Fast and Furious villain now. Just from his charisma, motive, and entertaining performance. Just with him bringing so much charm and entertainment to the role just reminds me how much I really like Jason Momoa as an actor, and every scene he was in this movie, he looked like he was having a blast and the best time of his life being in this movie. I loved him here. He was by far my favorite part about this movie. After being hesitant about Louis Leterrier being behind the camera for a Fast and Furious franchise, I am surprised to say I thought he did an impressive job directing a Fast and Furious movie. He does a great job at crafting well-executed and energetic action set pieces in this movie that are very entertaining and impressive to watch. And I felt like he did a great job filming the action scenes without shaking the camera too much, and they are well edited and you can tell what's going on during the action scenes here. For a few standout action scenes, one I think is the best action scene in this movie is when the crew are trying to stop this rolling bomb in Rome. I thought that was a fantastic and entertaining action scene. It's definitely one of the highlights of the film. And there was a second action scene set at a bridge that was great too, and even had Swan Lake in it, just from Jason Momoa. I enjoyed it. And 3 was an excellent fight scene that was very well choreographed between Letty and Cypher. One of my favorite aspects about the action scenes in Fast X is this franchise is still committed to using practical effects ever since 5. I definitely prefer the approach to practical effects and action in this movie rather than just doing CGI and making it all CGI heavy. I was satisfied watching the bomb action sequence and the behind the scenes videos of this movie, and happy to see that practical effects are still being used, from cars, stunts, explosions, and that being one of the reasons I definitely want to commend the cast and crew for this movie for that. Sadly, I do have my flaws with this movie. I will get to those right now. My main issue with Fast X is the story does feel overstuffed, With so many characters and so many plot lines this movie focuses on, it feels like playing catch up. Just trying to play catch up with everything, like, okay, here what these characters are doing, here what these characters are doing, here what these characters are doing. Okay, I forgot about those characters for a little while, here what they are up to. Okay, I forgot about these characters for a little while, here what they are up to. Okay, I forgot about these characters for a while, and then these characters are back. It did start to lose me a little bit. Okay, what exactly is the story in this movie? I'm trying to play catch up with everything, and it feels like it's just trying to set everything up with this being a part 1 story. And with this movie ending on a cliffhanger, it admittedly does feel a bit incomplete. Plus, it does contain the cheesiness, ridiculousness, and over-the-top moments you would expect from this franchise. Eye-rolling dialogue that just made me think, did they just really say that, or did that just really happen? Some of the drama in this movie can feel cheesy and like a soap opera. And characters surviving implausible stunts, like in the action scene set at Rome with the bomb. There's a part with Dom and a crane, and just that one moment with Dom and a crane, I just thought, yeah, I'm not sure about that, just no. And also after that, how does he not have a single scratch on him? And in the climax of this movie with the bridge and the dam, although they were very entertaining action scenes to watch in this movie, I feel like there were moments with the CGI that didn't quite look polished. Especially moments with obvious green screen, I just thought, okay, that's green screen right there. And also it does contain its predictable moments here and there. Like with one certain character who's on the villain side, and then he's suddenly on the hero side, I just thought, no, I'm not really buying it. And then a reveal at the ending of this movie, I just thought, yep, I called it. In conclusion, while the story does feel overstuffed and feels like you're playing catch up with everything going on, and it does contain the usual over-the-top moments you would expect from this franchise, I do think Fast X is an enjoyable and entertaining addition to the Fast and Furious franchise. It's much better than F9, has great and well-executed action set pieces and solid performances. Especially Jason Momoa, who was just such a treat in this movie as the villain. I would definitely recommend this movie to you if you're a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. If you enjoyed and loved all these Fast and Furious movies, I definitely think you're going to enjoy this one. Or if you're looking for a fun summer action movie to go see at the movies this summer. However, if you don't like the Fast and Furious movies or hate them and this doesn't look interesting to you at all, just skip this one. It's basically what you expect, just the same old from this franchise. So yeah, do avoid this one if you're just getting sick of the Fast and Furious movies and you just don't like these movies at all. Now that this movie ends on a cliffhanger and we have 2 more Fast and Furious movies after this, yep, 2. After this, I am curious to see the last 2 Fast and Furious movies now. And with Louis Leterrier returning to direct, I'm on board now. And now to grade it, I'm going to give Fast X 3.5 stars out of 5. A B. Even with its flaws aside, I am satisfied that I came out enjoying this one. And if you didn't like it or hated it, that's totally fine. I do respect your opinion. But for me, I enjoyed it for what it was. And now, where would I rank this movie in my Fast and Furious ranking? I would probably rank it at number 4 or 5, probably interchangeable with Fate of the Furious. I would say number 1 is still Fast 5, number 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, I'll probably put Fast X there for now, and 5, Fate of the Furious. So that's my top 5 Fast and Furious films for right now. And also, there is a mid-credit scene. Definitely stay for that one. With that cliffhanger ending and mid-credit scene, I am curious to see where things are going to go for Fast X Part 2 in 2025. So I would like to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on Fast X if you have seen it? Do you agree? Disagree with my review? Or if you haven't seen it, are you looking forward to film or not? Let me know below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie and want to see more reviews like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here. And don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.